Hi, I'm Russ with ESBService.com, and today I'm going to tell you about the maintenance schedule on your ESB tanning bed. So after every tanning session, what you want to do is you want to go in and clean the acrylic surface, clean the pillow, and clean your goggles. Take and clean off your pillow and your goggles with an approved indoor tanning cleaner. I recommend using the Power Clean, available through your ESB authorized dealer. And of course, take that and using a rag in the Power Clean, clean down the acrylic surface in your canopy and your bench. So also in your manual it says that weekly what you're going to want to do is inspect your vents. So you have vents down inside your reflector area here, and some models have them in different spots. You might have them like a little more spaced out over there and over here in the center, but basically in these vents here, that might be an indication, especially if you have like pets or if it's excessively dusty, dirty in your area. This is where you want to look, is in your vent area, to just give it an inspection once a week. If it needs attention, then you may need to pull out your acrylic and go further, but just be aware you don't want to have any major obstructions in your vent area there. So every month it's recommended that you go and clean the exterior of the bed. Again, using your Power Clean and a rag, just clean the exterior surfaces, keep the plastic looking good, and then also you might want to go in there and wipe down and vacuum out the vent areas. Again, if it's needed in here, and especially be aware of your vents here, your fan grills. So then what you want to do is every 6 months you want to go in there and vacuum reflectors. Take your bristle attachment on your vacuum cleaner and just be very careful not to scratch any of the surfaces in there, and just give it a good vacuuming, clean all that out in the vent area there. You're going to want to also clean your lamps. When you, at that same time, take your lamps out and wipe them down the length, there's going to be a buildup of film on the lamps themselves, and that actually cuts down on a lot of your tanning power. So you're going to want to, same thing with the rag and the Power Clean, just wipe the length of the lamps down and put them back in just like how they were. Lastly, while you've got the acrylic out, you're going to want to clean the underside of that acrylic. Again, that's all every 6 months. Vacuum the reflectors, clean the lamps, and clean the underside of the acrylics. Lastly, every 1,000 hours you want to replace your acrylics and your lamps. That's what your acrylics and lamps are rated for, is 1,000 hours. And although after 1,000 hours you might continue to see visible light coming out, the actual usable UV light that contributes to your tan is actually used up. Ultraviolet is just that, it's past the visible spectrum, so it's not something that your eyes can detect, but at that time you'll notice it in your tan. Another thing to maintain on your tanning bed would be the shocks or the gas springs, especially since tanning beds are seasonally used. Many times they're used during the winter and they might sit over the summer, or however it is that you use the tanning bed and don't use the tanning bed. The basic point is this: the shocks themselves have seals in them. There's also gas and air, and these seals inside there need to be lubricated. And if you leave the bed closed for extended periods of time, or open for extended periods of time, the seals in the shocks can get dried out, and then they simply won't work as well anymore. So to keep your shocks working well, at least once a week, I recommend coming up to the bed and opening it and closing it at least a good 2 or 3 times to put the shocks through the full distance of motion that they're intended for. And this will help keep the seals inside here lubricated and keep your shocks working for many years to come.